Riot Grrrl was a DIY feminist punk movement in the early 1990s. It began in the Pacific Northwest, more specifically Olympia, Washington. The movement revolved around equality, self-expression, activism, challenging the patriarchy, and bodily autonomy. Although it didn't start there, Tacoma, Washington became an important part of the movement as it hosted multiple concerts from artists and bands that fell under the feminist punk subculture. Some of the most prominent bands of this time were Bikini Kill, Bratmobile, and Heavens to Betsy.
Here's an example of Bikini Kill performing Rebel Girl, one of their most famous songs. Here we have another example of another Riot Grrrl band, Bratmobile, playing live. Here, in our last example, we have Heavens to Betsy playing live.
An important part of the movement was the creation of fanzines. These were self-published, DIY magazines that were used as a way to share ideas, experiences, and creative works. They were shared at concerts, record stores, and even by mail order. Fanzines connected people across states and even countries, and helped spark conversations about feminism and social justice. The effects of this movement can still be seen today, having inspired later waves of feminist punk and more representation in the music industry. The 2021 movie, Moxie, brings the Riot Grrrl movement back into the present by following a high school girl as she uses elements from the movement such as fanzines to fight sexism at her school.
We've been told in big ways and in small ways for our whole lives that the achievements of men are much more important than the achievements of women. Well, forget that. Forget that!
Despite the Riot Grrrl movement paving the way for future women's movements and protests, different minority groups felt as though they were being unrepresented. Riot Grrrl gave the voice to underrepresented demographic within the punk community. However, the movement was soon oversaturated with middle-class white women. As Riot Grrrl continued to disregard women of color and their contributions to the scene, many of them left. Despite their departure, many of the former Riot Grrrls were tired of penting up their emotions. With no other space to express themselves, they interacted with each other. They shared their issues and experiences, and the former members each saw each other within themselves. Eventually, these interactions became the foundation of a new community. In the late 90s, Tamara Kali Brown, Simi Stone, Honeychild Coleman, and Maya Sokara met up and created the Sister Grrrl Riots in response to the Riot Grrrl movement. Unlike the previous movement, the Sister Grrrl Riots were made by Black women for Black women.